I've seen so many instances of people being changed by one word or one sentence. And I've had so many people write to me over the years and say, you said this and it's changed my life, which is great for them. But also there's the magic of marginal improvement. I mean, if you're able to change by just 1% a week at the end of the year, you've changed by over 60-something percent because it compounds, right? So by the end of 2 years, you're simply a totally different person.
But you have to change your thinking to change your life. What does that mean to you, that phrase?
Change your thinking, change your life. Well, thoughts are prayers. So just think about that one. Let's give it a pregnant poise. Thoughts are prayers. Meaning whatever you put in here will materialize here. Now, there's a new form of quantum physics where they're looking at fractal reality. And in fractal reality, what they're saying, Chris, is that whatever you're looking at here, folks, nothing else actually exists until you bring it into frame of mind. So therefore, the same thing is if you're thinking, I'm not going to get cancer, I'm not going to get cancer, I'm not going to get cancer, all you're putting out there is cancer, cancer, cancer. So you're better off just thinking good thoughts and having a more positive frame of mind, and you'll attract more positive things. Let me describe 7 spiritual laws which form the basis of something called the law of learning, okay? So there's 7 phases that a person can go through. It starts with the bottom one, safety and security. Somebody watching this video is not worried about safety and security. If you're living on the streets in Bangladesh, you are. But 95% of the people watching this video are in the second level and they can't break through it. The second level is thinking. This is what occupies your mind all the time. I need a better job, I need to make an extra $100 a week, I want to get a new car, I need a better girlfriend, boyfriend, etc., etc. Where should I move to? That mind stuff, that thinking stuff is only second level of spiritual development. The third level is who am I and why am I here? So when you get to really looking at that, which is what we talked about previously, that's the third level. The fourth level is you understand who you are and why you're here, and you realize that it's not about you, it's about what you can learn, what you can give, and what you can love. Then after that, it starts getting really into small percentages of people who are able to attain this in life. The fifth level is flow, so that's like a Richard Branson, who whatever he touches seems to turn to gold, even though he doesn't do much with it. The sixth level is consciousness. So this is understanding that we're all connected, and on a daily basis, understanding that everything you do, from the words coming out of your mouth to the way that you are, affects not only yourself but the world. And the last one is source energy, and that's when you're directly connected to source. Probably only 3 people in history, the prophets, that ever got to that sort of level. So when you're talking about sort of where you are in your life, I realized at one point that I was no longer in thinking. And that was a really big thing for me. I realized that I was actually really not concerned about where my next dollar was going to come from, or what house I was going to live in, or what car I was going to drive. I mean, we don't even own a car anymore. We hire cars wherever we go. It's actually cheaper for us because of our global lifestyle. So when I got rid of that, that's when I reached that level. But I think if you know and research the term Saturn returns, that's also a big one. So that normally happens at 28. So 28 was a pivotal point, 42 was a pivotal point for me, and 56 is meant to be a pivotal point as well. So I've learned myself to peel that back and to really have much more appreciation of presence. So in other words, instead of me sitting here being interviewed by you, thinking, I'm looking forward to tomorrow because, we're going to go out for dinner with whoever. Instead of that, I'm going to actually love the presence of being in this moment with you. If you're listening to this, just be present of what's around you at the moment. So, even as I look into the camera now, I can see behind me there's photos, I can see that there's a painting there. So this is you. This painting is representative of you. You are the lone old shack on the hill, right? So when I look at that, what does presence mean? Presence means all you ever have is that shack, which is you.
Do you think that's learnable, that presence of mind, or trainable, or immersible?
The answer is you have to learn to breathe. And most people aren't very good at breathing. Scientifically, the space between us taking in a breath and letting out a breath is technically death. because we're not breathing. So if you become present with breath, you become present with life.
Do you think there's a challenge in Western ethics and dogma with materialism and possessions and the bigger car, the bigger house?
Lundy, my partner, and I, we live a very minimalist lifestyle. We don't own cars anymore. There wouldn't be a month go past where she doesn't throw stuff out. So, I mean, we're constantly decluttering to try and keep things lean so that we can move, so that we're not tethered to something if opportunities come up.
What would you say are the sort of turning points, to quote calculus, from a low point where you think, holy moly, I need to break out of this? And what's been a peak, or maybe are you picking now? I don't know.
I don't know. How do you know if you've peaked?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, some people go financially, but the rest of your life's falling apart. So, I mean, massive transition came in service on my first trip to Cambodia in 2005. And that was when I realised that no one person can ever do enough for the world. But I think even before then, I got frustrated with the corporatocracy of not wanting accountability or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm laughing because that's viral, isn't it? That sense of control, and you're in a box, and there's so many challenges there, isn't there?
Yeah, well, just simply not being accountable, meaning we're going to make this big decision, we're going to spend $42 million, but hey, I'm good, if it goes wrong, well, it's your fault. So I really got sick of that. So
growing up, what were the sort of value set that you were born and brought up into?
Materialism. If you ask my best friend from school, he said, Mike always said two things. He said, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to travel the world. But I think these days, I mean, our values, Lundy's and mine, are very clear. They're fun, freedom, travel, love, and beauty. And beauty means having beautiful clients, people who are beautiful people, big hearts, being in beautiful spaces around the world as well, doing beautiful projects, all of that sort of stuff. First thing in the morning, the minute we wake up, the first thing we do is we share the dreams that we had the night before.
Really?
I learned that from the Ashwa Indians of Ecuador. They bring their family together at dawn, and all of the family sits until they've all shared their dreams, and then they move away from the fire, essentially, and get on and eat and move on with their day. We do exactly the same thing. It's phenomenal, right? Because, dreams aren't just this random thing that pops in. They're not there for entertainment. They're your connection to your spiritual self. So you have great learnings through those dreams, and you may not be able to interpret them, but somebody else can interpret them pretty well and give you perspective, and that really is very, very helpful.
What would you offer out there for those who are maybe avoiding change, they might be procrastinating, or using too much logic in their brains? I know it's tricky, but just if you come up with one sort of nugget for these viewers, what would you say to them?
You're getting left behind. It's simple.
Yeah.
I want to give you an example. Years and years ago, I was thinking I probably will never move out of Auckland because I really enjoyed living in Auckland because all my friends were there. They were all within 500 metres of my house. That Friday night, I went to my friend's house for dinner, and he goes, me and my wife are thinking of moving to America. And I'm like, here I am thinking I'm going to hang around for you, and you just told me you're going to move. So that's a great example. So if you don't change, other people will. And there's only one constant in the universe, and that is change.
Absolutely. Okay. Hey, thanks so much for your time today,
Thanks,
Mike.
Chris.
Really appreciate it.
Cool.
We'll see you soon.
Yep. Cheers.
Bye for now.